Hey Falcons fans, are you ready to jump into a wild trade rumor that could shake up the NFC? What if I told you that Justin Fields' struggles with the New York Jets might indirectly open a door for a blockbuster move involving the Chicago Bears? And could that ripple effect impact our Atlanta Falcons? Welcome back to the channel, where we tackle everything Falcons with raw energy and deep dives. Today, we're exploring a fascinating storyline. The Jets' dismal 0-6 start, fueled by Fields' ongoing woes, might push New York to trade star running back Breece Hall. While the Bears are the primary team linked to Hall in this report, we're going to analyze why Atlanta should be in the mix for a player as caliber as the NFL trade deadline looms. Buckle up, this is a juicy one. Let's break down the situation first. Justin Fields, now 2 years removed from his time with the Chicago Bears, where he went 11-29 as a starter, is floundering with the Jets. In a recent game against the Denver Broncos, he had one of the worst performances of his career, completing just 9 of 17 passes for a measly 45 yards, with the Jets managing a pathetic -10 net passing yards and only 82 total offensive yards. Head coach Aaron Glenn clearly lacked faith in Fields to make plays downfield, and it's hard to argue with that assessment given the numbers. With New York sitting at 0-6, the worst record in the league, and eyeing the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 draft, the Jets might be ready to pivot. Reports suggest they could look to offload veterans, and Breece Hall, still without a contract extension, stands out as their most valuable trade asset. At just the right age and with undeniable talent, Hall could fetch a significant return for a team ready to rebuild. Now, let's talk about Hall's numbers and why he's such a hot commodity. Despite the Jets' offensive struggles, Hall has been a bright spot, racking up 410 rushing yards on 88 carries this season, averaging a solid clip per attempt. He's also contributed in the passing game with 17 receptions on 24 targets for 150 yards, though he's yet to find the end zone. In the loss to Denver, he carried the ball 22 times for 59 yards, showing he can handle a heavy workload even in a dysfunctional offense. For a team like the Bears, who are reportedly the frontrunners for Hall, he'd be a massive upgrade to a rushing attack that's languishing at just 102.3 yards per game, 8th worst in the NFL. With DeAndre Swift underperforming at 3.34 yards per carry and rookie Kyle Manangdai barely factoring in, Chicago sees Hall as the missing piece to elevate their ground game under offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. But here's where the Falcons come into play. While the Bears are the focus of this rumor, Atlanta should absolutely be monitoring this situation. We got a dynamic young offense led by Michael Penix Jr., and Bijan Robinson is already a Pro Bowl caliber back. However, adding a talent like Breece Hall could create one of the most lethal backfield duos in the league. Imagine a two-headed monster where Robinson and Hall split carries, keeping defenses guessing with their complementary skill sets. Robinson's elusiveness paired with Hall's power and receiving ability. Our rushing attack, while solid, could use another dimension to truly dominate, especially in a tight NFC race where every edge counts. Hall's ability to catch passes out of the backfield would also give Penix another reliable weapon, easing the pressure on our young QB as he navigates his first full season as a starter. Let's weigh the logistics of Atlanta jumping into this trade sweepstakes. The Jets, desperate for draft capital or young talent to rebuild, might demand a mid-round pick, say a 3rd or 4th rounder, or a depth player in return for Hall. For the Falcons, that's a reasonable price to pay for a proven back who's still in his prime and hasn't secured a long-term extension yet, meaning we could potentially lock him up at a favorable rate. GM Terry Fontenot has shown he's not afraid to make bold moves when the fit is right, and with the trade deadline approaching on November 4th, there's a narrow window to act. The risk, of course, is whether Hall can mesh with our system mid-season, and if splitting carries with Robinson might disrupt chemistry. But the upside, a devastating ground game that controls the clock and opens up play action for Penix. Feels worth the gamble, especially if we're serious about a playoff push in 2025. Here's the broader picture. Even if the Bears snag Hall, this rumor underscores how active the trade market could be in the coming weeks. The Falcons need to be proactive, whether pursuing Hall or another impact player, to address any lingering roster gaps. Our defense has shown improvement, but offensively, adding a piece like Hall could be the spark that takes us from wild card hopefuls to legitimate contenders. So, I'm tossing this out there. Should Atlanta crash the Breece Hall trade talks and pair him with Bijan Robinson, or stick with our current backfield and look elsewhere for upgrades? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you want to see us make a splash for Hall, or trust in Bijan to carry the load? I'm pumped to hear your take. And if this breakdown of a potential trade bombshell got you fired up about the Falcons' future, hit that like button to show some support. We've got more trade rumors and team updates on deck as the deadline nears, so stay tuned. Until next time, let's keep the momentum rolling and rise up